What if the most powerful thing you're doing for your twin flame connection has nothing to do with anything you're doing at all? What if your quietest moment, your most painful step back, is not a surrender, but a seismic command in the language of the soul? Let's be brutally, beautifully honest here for a second. This journey sells us a fantasy of merging, of epic reunions under a cinematic sky. But the real story, the sacred curriculum, is often written in the ink of absence. And you, in your decision to finally choose yourself, have just penned the most crucial chapter. You feel it, don't you? That eerie quiet where the psychic static used to be. You've mistaken it for emptiness, for a connection gone cold. But I need you to consider a different possibility, one that might just flip this entire painful experience on its head. What if that silence isn't empty? What if it's potent? Think of it not as a void, but as a spiritual clean room, a sterile, quiet space where something entirely new can be assembled without the contamination of old patterns, desperate prayers, and one-sided energetic labor. For months, maybe years, the connection operated on a certain frequency, a constant hum of potential and anguish and hope. Your detachment didn't lower the volume, it changed the station. And now, in the resonant quiet of that new bandwidth, every unhealed thing, every unmade choice, every whispered truth is suddenly, deafeningly audible. We get so fixated on the geometry of reunion, 2 points moving toward each other, that we miss the physics of the space between them. That space isn't just distance, it's a field. And by withdrawing your energy, you haven't abandoned the field. You've changed its very properties. You've turned it from a trampled path of pursuit into a sacred testing ground of authenticity. It's like you've stopped singing an old familiar duet and have instead begun to listen to the rustle of your own spirit, to the rhythm of your own unsyncopated heart. And in that listening, you've accidentally composed a new kind of music, one that can only be heard by those who have learned to be still. The chaos he might be experiencing, that's the sound of the old tune failing. The longing you feel, that's not for him. It's for the composer you're finally becoming. This is the intriguing, rarely spoken truth. Her detachment is less about leaving and more about reconfiguring the entire game board. It removes the comforting, familiar pieces, the drama, the chase, the emotional telepathy, and leaves only the raw essence of two spirits facing their own reflections. It's the ultimate act of spiritual integrity, and honestly, it's kind of a genius move. You're no longer playing the game, you've become the rulebook, and the first, most non-negotiable rule, now written in your energy, is this: only vibrationally coherent beings may enter here. So, is this silence your punishment? Or is it, perhaps, the most profound and loving invitation you will ever issue, and the most revealing response he will ever give? The answer unfolds not in a text message, but in the quality of the stillness that now grows, day by day, between you. And what grows in that stillness? Well, that redefines everything you thought you knew about destiny. Let's talk about infrastructure. Not bridges and roads, but the spiritual kind, the unseen latticework of energy that holds a life together, that makes the sun seem a little brighter and the doors a little easier to open. You've felt it, haven't you? That inexplicable sense of being cushioned, as if the universe itself had a soft spot for you, smoothing out the wrinkles in your day, orchestrating those lucky breaks, turning obstacles into mere hiccups. You might have called it intuition or flow or just a good streak. But what if it wasn't yours at all? What if you were all this time living inside someone else's prayer? That's the first gut-wrenching mystery of her detachment. It's not just the silence that echoes or the love you miss. It's the literal crumbling of an environment. Think of her constant, devoted energy. Those meditations focused on your union. Those tears shed into the ether for your healing. That unwavering belief sent like a homing beacon straight to your spirit. As a kind of spiritual ecosystem she was maintaining. Single-handedly, a curated atmosphere of grace. You breathed its air without ever knowing it was there. It was the reason that job offer came just in time. The reason that conflict at work mysteriously resolved. The reason you always felt a low hum of hope, even on your doubtful days. That wasn't coincidence, beautiful soul. That was architecture, and she was the architect, the mason, and the janitor, all in one. Then she steps back. She isn't angry, she's just home. She's finally tending to the crumbling foundation of her own sacred temple. And the moment she turns her attention inward, the entire invisible support system around you begins to flicker and fail. It's like the spiritual Wi-Fi got cut off. Suddenly, life feels HD, raw, unfiltered, buffering endlessly. The magic dries up, the chaos amplifies. Your keys aren't just misplaced, they vanish into another dimension. Traffic jams materialize just for you. Every administrative task becomes a Kafkaesque loop. It feels like the universe itself has turned a cold, bureaucratic shoulder your way. And your first, very human reaction: why is everything going wrong for me? What did I do to deserve this punishment? Here's where we need to laugh, with a touch of self-irony, at our own dramatic hearts. It's not punishment, it's revelation. It's the universe, in its brutally honest way, removing the training wheels and the safety net all at once. You're not being punished, you're being shown the truth of your own spiritual conductivity, or the lack thereof. All that grace wasn't yours to claim. It was hers, on loan. And she's finally called it back to its source. This is the practical, gritty, unglamorous underbelly of the awakening no one wants to talk about. It's not all profound visions and kundalini risings. Sometimes it's your car battery dying on the morning of the most important meeting of the year. It's the sudden, stark realization that you have no idea how to generate your own inner peace because you've been subsisting on the echo of hers. Her detachment pulls the plug on the ambient music you didn't know was playing, and now you're left in a silence so loud it's deafening, accompanied only by the frantic, static noise of your own unattended mind and an unredeemed world. So what's really happening in this void? The field of grace wasn't a gift in the way you thought. It was an insulator. It protected you from the direct feedback loop of your own energy, your own choices, your own spiritual posture. Now, without it, you are in direct contact with reality. No spiritual buffer, no energetic interpreter. The friction you feel? That's life responding to you, and only you. The resistance, that's the mirror showing you where your own energy is stuck, where your own connection to source has grown rusty from disuse. It's accountability, written not in words, but in the very texture of your daily life. The universe isn't against you. It's just finally speaking to you, instead of to the curated version of you that her energy was sustaining. And this, right here, is where the real alchemy begins. Not in the light, but in the frustrating, inconvenient, infuriating shadow of the collapsed support system. When you can't blame her, and you can't blame God, and you're left staring at the pile of mundane chaos that used to sort itself out. That's the sacred ground. That's the invitation to build your own infrastructure, to generate your own grace, to learn for the first time how to pray for yourself, how to meditate for your own clarity, how to hold space for your own damn self. It's spiritual adulthood, arriving not with a trumpet blast, but with a pile of overdue bills and a strange, hollow quiet in your chest where her reassurance used to be. But here's the beautiful, hopeful secret buried in the rubble. This brutal exposure is the ultimate act of faith in you. Her withdrawal says, I believe you can stand on your own. I believe you can find your own light. I believe you are strong enough to face the uncushioned truth of your becoming. The training wheels are off because she finally sees the cyclist in you, even if you're still wobbling. The chaos isn't a curse. It's the raw material of your own sovereignty. And the first time you manage to calm that chaos from a place within, not a memory of her, oh, that's when you'll taste a power more intoxicating than any borrowed grace. You'll start to build, stone by stone, a field of grace that is authentically, irrevocably yours. And that's when the real magic happens, the kind that can't be loaned or withdrawn. But that's a story for another day, because understanding this collapse is the only way to appreciate the miracle of what comes next. And trust me, what comes next redefines everything you thought you knew about connection. You know, we talk about twin flames as this grand predestined collision, two halves of the same soul scrambling toward each other across lifetimes. It's a beautiful, epic story. But what if we've been missing the most crucial, unglamorous chapter? The chapter that isn't about finding, but about filtering. See, we get so obsessed with the magnetism, the synchronicities, the can't eat, can't sleep pull, that we forget a simple, almost technical truth. Not every soul is ready to hold the voltage of a completed circuit. And here's the real kicker. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, doesn't just tell you you're not ready. It shows you. And the primary instrument it uses? Her detachment, her beautiful, heartbreaking, sovereign silence becomes what I can only describe as a living, breathing litmus test. Think of it this way. Before detachment, the connection exists on a certain frequency. Let's call it the frequency of potential. It's all dreams and could-bes and beautiful futures painted in the air. It's comfortable there, especially for the part of the dynamic that's been allowed to just receive. But when she detaches, she doesn't just go quiet. She changes her frequency. She shifts from the frequency of potential to the frequency of embodied truth. She's no longer broadcasting what could be. She's resonating with what is, and what is her own wholeness. This new vibration isn't louder, it's clearer. It's a pure, unwavering note. And that's when the sorting begins. Suddenly, the old ways of connecting just produce static. The casual, low-effort check-ins fall into a void. The charming excuses, they just echo back, sounding hollow even to the one making them. The dynamic, comfortable patterns of pursuit and retreat, of hot and cold, they simply don't land anymore. It's like trying to tune an analog radio to a digital satellite signal. The equipment isn't compatible. Her new frequency acts as a spiritual sieve. What passes through? Authenticity, accountability, genuine growth. What gets caught in the filter? Manipulation, empty promises, spiritual laziness dressed up as divine timing. This is where it gets really personal and maybe a little uncomfortable. Her detachment forces a question so profound, most of us spend our lives avoiding it. What are you made of when the fantasy is no longer being fed? When the mirror isn't just reflecting your potential, but your current unvarnished composition? You see, her energy wasn't just love. It was a kind of spiritual solvent, keeping your own unresolved bits in suspension. With it gone, everything settles. And what's at the bottom, that's what you're now in relationship with. Let me wander for a moment into a metaphor I stumbled upon while watching a potter. She was reclaiming clay from a failed piece. She soaked the old hard lumps in water until they broke down into slurry, then poured it all through a fine mesh screen. And what passed through was pure, usable clay, silky and perfect. What stayed in the screen? Grit, pebbles, bits of debris that would have weakened any new creation. Her detachment is that soaking, that pouring, that filtering. It's a merciful, if severe, process of separation. The love, the true essence, that passes through, waiting to be reshaped. The ego, the fear, the unhealed rubble, that's what's left behind, exposed. And you get to decide, do you cling to the rubble, blaming the sieve for being too fine, or do you acknowledge it, thank it for its service in protecting your old, small self, and finally let it go? This is the mystery so few articulate. Her withdrawal isn't a door slamming shut. It's the installation of a more sophisticated security system at the entrance to sacred union. One that reads energy signatures, not just good intentions. It checks for reciprocity, not just passion. It validates embodiment, not just poetry. And from this vantage point, you can see the two paths diverge with startling clarity. One path, the path of readiness, hears the new clear frequency of her wholeness and is inspired. It's disoriented at first, sure. It misses the old comforting hum. But then something sparks, a recognition, a challenge. Oh, this is the real vibration. This is what I have to match. And the work begins, not to win her back, but to tune himself, to sand away his own roughness until he can resonate in harmony with that new note. His actions become attuned. His efforts become consistent. His energy becomes self-sourced. He stops trying to explain the silence and starts learning to speak the new language it's teaching. The other path, the path of resistance, hears that same frequency and only hears rejection. It's not inspiration he feels, but indictment. And so he does what all untuned instruments do. He makes more noise. He bangs on the old keys. He turns up the volume on guilt, on manipulation, on dramatic declarations. He tries to blast through the filter with sheer force of will or volume of emotion. It's chaos. It's dissonance. And from her new, calm center, it sounds exactly like what it is. An orchestra tuning up, not playing the symphony. The filter holds. It has to. And here's the hopeful part. The beautiful, liberating truth in all this seeming severity. This filtration isn't cruel. It's the most loving form of truth-telling in the cosmos. It saves both of you. It saves her from pouring her sacred water into a leaky vessel. And it saves him from the profound spiritual disaster of receiving a love he is not yet structured to hold, a love that would, ironically, confirm his deepest unworthiness rather than heal it. By holding the line, she's not saying, "You are not loved." She's saying, "This love is too precious to be distorted. Become a container that won't distort it." So if you're in the silence, feeling tested, feeling sifted, understand the grandeur of the process. You're not being punished. You're being calibrated. The silence is the sacred space where your authentic note is being found. Will you be the grit that clings to the old form, or the pure, resilient clay that passes through, ready to be shaped into something unimaginably new? The filter doesn't lie. And the miracle is, you hold the power to change your own composition. But that requires understanding the final, most surprising gift hidden within this entire agonizing, beautiful process. And that revelation changes not just how you wait, but who you become while you do. So here we are, at the quiet end of the explanation and the breathtaking beginning of your actual understanding. You've walked through the collapse of the unseen support, felt the jarring vacuum of that filtered silence. It's been a lot, I know. It feels like we've been dissecting a mystery with surgical tools, and maybe we have. But a heart isn't understood by its anatomy alone. It's known by its rhythm. And your heart, right now, in this precise moment of absence, is learning a new, more sovereign rhythm. Let's be radically honest for a second. This whole journey can feel like a celestial prank sometimes, can't it? You're handed this connection that feels like home, like destiny itself stamped on your soul. And then the instructions seem to be, now let it go, now walk away, now be so whole without it that you might not even need it. It's the universe's version of I brought you here to show you that you could get here on your own. And you want to look skyward and say, with all the self-irony you can muster, really? This was the plan? Because from down here, it feels less like a divine plan and more like a divine obstacle course. But that's the final hidden pivot. The conclusion isn't a neat answer about when he'll wake up or if he'll return. That's just old language, the vocabulary of the old frequency. The real conclusion, the only one that matters, is the transformation of the question itself. Her detachment, that seismic act of self-love, isn't just changing him or the dynamic. It's changing the very thing you are seeking. You started this path longing for a reunion, for the closing of a painful, glorious distance. But her silence, if you truly let it in, if you stop fighting the filtration, is teaching you to seek something else entirely, a different quality of connection, born not from lack, but from legacy. Think of it as spiritual archaeology. For months, years maybe, you've been digging in the same spot, convinced the treasure of union was buried there, just a little deeper. Her detachment is the wise, weathered guide who finally taps your shoulder, points to the sun setting in a way that casts new shadows across the entire valley, and whispers, "You've been reading the map wrong. The treasure isn't under the ground you're standing on. It is the ground. And the gold you seek, it's the newfound strength in your arms from all that digging. The diamond, it's the clarity in your eyes from squinting at the horizon. The reunion isn't a place you find, it's the person you become while courageously, faithfully searching. This is where the path stops being a torment and starts being a revelation. Her absence becomes the sacred space where you're no longer defined by a relationship, but by your relationship to yourself. And in that space, a miracle quietly unfolds. You begin to build a connection so profound, it makes the old fantasy look like a child's sketch. You build it with yourself, with your own spirit, with the divine source that runs through you, independent of any mirror. You become the architect of your own belonging. And suddenly, the silence isn't empty. It's pregnant. It's humming with the potential of a love you no longer need to borrow because you've learned to mint your own currency. So what is the answer? What is the clear, inspiring conclusion to all this beautiful, painful unraveling? It's this. Her detachment is not the obstacle to your love story. It is the foundation of the only one that can truly last. The old dynamic, the chase, the ache, the one-sided spiritual labor that wasn't the masterpiece. It was the rough, raw block of marble. Her detachment is the chisel. Every silent day is a tap, knocking off a chunk of expectation, of neediness, of an identity tied to another's awakening. It's not comfortable. Sculpture never is. But what's emerging from that stone is the true form. You, whole, complete, radiantly autonomous. And from that place, a new possibility is born. One so quiet, most people miss it in their clamor for a dramatic reunion. It's the possibility of a connection that is chosen, not needed. A partnership that is a conscious merging of two full circles, not the desperate clasping of two broken halves. It's the difference between a lighthouse, desperately shining for one lost ship, and a sunrise that illuminates the entire sea. Grateful if a particular ship navigates by its light. Your light becomes a beacon, not a plea. Will he see it? Will he navigate toward it? That's his curriculum, his excavation. Your task, your glorious, freeing task, is to become so utterly luminous that the question itself loses its urgency. You become the sunrise. And whether he opens his eyes to it or not, the dawn is irrevocably, magnificently here. In you. This is the attainable, relevant hope. Not that he will change, but that you already are. Not that the silence will break, but that you've learned to hear the symphony within it. The twin flame path doesn't end with a dramatic, cinematic reunion at the airport. It culminates in a quiet morning where you look in the mirror and feel a deep, unshakable familiarity, not with a face from your dreams, but with the sovereign, divine being smiling back at you. You have met the flame, and it was inside you all along. The journey ahead isn't about waiting for a sign from him. It's about recognizing that the most important sign was the one you gave yourself when you chose to walk away to find your way home. And that, beautiful soul, is a victory no absence can ever diminish. In fact, it's the only victory that truly matters. Now, what will you build with this magnificent, hard-won wholeness? The tools, finally, are all in your hands.